Well, it looks like CNN's got a new one to run with now. They got their new story.
Breaking news this morning. We are learning new details about the deadly strike operation that President Trump says he ordered on Islamic State terrorists in Nigeria. Listen to this. That, as you can see, released from the Department of Defense yesterday evening. The U.S. military reports multiple ISIS terrorists were killed in the attack, which the president first announced on social media. This comes after the president for months has warned that the United States could take military action in the African nation, claiming that.
Oh, so at least CNN's confirming exactly what the president said he was going to do for months. I mean, I like how she's got her coffee and everything like this, and they're actually showing this stock footage off of the, looks like some Aegis cruiser.
ISIS had been targeting Christians in the region. The president writing in part this on social media about it. I have previously warned that these terrorists, that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight, he goes on to say, the Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. Now, Nigeria confirmed the two countries coordinated in this.
You like how they got the Christmas colors up here for this Christmas strike? I got to give CNN a little bit of credit for this, but we'll see how they try to discredit the president, how they try to, I would say, probably defend ISIS. That's typically how the liberal news media works. And I would say not even liberal news media, just the news media in general. Coming from the United States military, Navy background, this was precision. This was out of nowhere. This was on Christmas night. This sent a statement to the rest of the world. And I believe it sent a statement to the liberal news media that you're not going to dictate how Donald Trump runs his presidency or how that he helps, people that need it. And when you're targeting Christians, hundreds of thousands of Christians have allegedly been killed in Nigeria. Finally, Nigeria asked for some help, and here comes the cavalry.
This effort in this strike, their foreign minister joined CNN earlier this morning.
What took place yesterday clearly underscores the fact that Nigeria is not lacking in will and a commitment to the fight against terrorism.
CNN's Nada Bashir tracking this one for us. Nada, what is the very latest that you're picking up?
Okay, so they got a London correspondent wearing a head garment. So I'm assuming she will be completely against the United States. This is just my guess, but it's nice to see a London correspondent for CNN, nowhere near Nigeria. Well, a little closer than we are. But let's see how that she defends this.
We're still not getting full details just yet from U.S. officials with regards to the details surrounding this strike. What we do know is the U.S. Africa Command has said that multiple Islamic State targets and militants were killed overnight in these deadly strikes. We've heard, as you mentioned, from the U.S. president himself addressing this military action in social media, saying and describing this as a powerful and deadly strike against Islamic State terrorists. And this strike took place in the northern Sokoto region of Nigeria, just bordering Niger. Now, at this stage, again, no clear details with regards to the impact. What we do know is that this was carried out in coordination with the Nigerian government. We've heard from a Nigerian presidential spokesperson and advisor saying that both the U.S. and Nigeria.
I mean, look at this area here. This is a horrible part of the world. Never go on vacation here. Burkina Faso, Benin, Togo, Ghana, Cameroon, Chad, Niger. This is a horrible part of the world. But the one thing that is big right now is the Chinese are trying to move into this region because I believe Nigeria has a large natural resource supply. So I believe that's why ISIS is even there. And ISIS, I thought they were eradicated. I didn't even know that they were still around, but apparently they are. But this region, and it's nice to see that they have somebody from London because this is where all the refugees are going. They're going to England. I lived in England in the early 2000s, and it was almost impossible to find an actual Londoner in the city of London. But now You're seeing exactly what happens whenever you pull out peacekeeping forces. Do I want United States military there? No. And I believe by doing this, we're actually giving Nigeria a little bit of a, maybe like a little bit of a boost to help themselves. That's what I want. I want people to help themselves. I don't want United States military anywhere. I say get them the hell out of Germany too.
Are on the same page when it comes to tackling these security concerns. And of course, what we've been hearing from the White House for several weeks now and from the US president himself is the ramping up of concern around the protection of Nigeria's Christian community against extremist attacks. And it's important to note and underscore that, of course, Nigeria does have a deep-rooted history of security troubles when it comes to Islamist extremist groups. But these attacks that we have seen in the past have targeted both Nigeria's Christian and Muslim communities, two of the largest religious communities in the country. So this is certainly a historic concern within the country, but we are now seeing very clearly that first-hand action by the US military in Nigeria, according to officials, in coordination with the Nigerian government.
Nada, thank you so much.
She said a hell of a lot not to say anything, didn't she? We know what's going on there. We know what's going on there. I love how CNN, as Me Too, as pro women's rights that they find someone that is made to wear this headscarf by their religion. Very peaceful religion, too.
Much more detail to learn here for sure. Appreciate it.
And the president warning, of course, there could be more to come in Nigeria, writing on Truth Social to the, quote, dead terrorists, warning there will be, in his words, many more.
Do you like how Donald Trump, even in his Truth Social post, he's trolling the hell out of these people? May God bless our military. Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if the slaughter of Christians continue. It's the greatest president ever. He doesn't care who you are. He will troll you, and he will put out the message on True Social because he knows that every news outlet is going to screenshot this. This is exactly, he gets free marketing. Everyone knows about True Social only because of his posts and how CNN tries to troll him. This is free marketing.
And White House reporter at the Associated Press, Ashley Davis, former George W. Bush White House official, and Eugene Scott, contributing columnist at the Boston Globe and visiting fellow at the Johns Hopkins University.
So we got Johns Hopkins, Boston Globe, former George Bush advisor. So these are going to be completely unbiased, very conservative, very, pro-Trump people talking here. This is where would it hurt CNN at all to get a normal person on here? Just a normal person. This is like a United Colors of Benetton commercial. That's what this is.
When we look at where things stand, the fact that the president really has cast himself as this peacemaker, often talks about the wars that he says that he has ended, and yet we are seeing this approach not just in Nigeria, but in other pockets around the world. How do we square what we hear from the president and what we see on the ground?
Well, how the administration squares it is that this is all part of President Trump's strategy, his foreign policy doctrine of peace through strength, obviously. However, you have, on the one hand, you have, him touting all the conflicts that he has helped.
Peace through strength is the only thing that works. These horrible actors, ISIS, the Taliban, Boko Haram, all of these organizations, they understand one thing: power. They understand one thing: quick, decisive power. And that's exactly what happened. And this is not something that CNN is used to at all. But this is a huge deflection. And maybe a lot of people are going to say, oh, this is a distraction. This is just a distraction from the Epstein files. Maybe it is, right?
Then you see a lot of offensive military action abroad. And, his aides don't see that necessarily as a contradiction. They say that part of keeping broader peace is making sure that, these targets abroad know that the U.S. is willing to strike if necessary. But I also think that this is a contradiction that you're going to be hearing on Capitol Hill, particularly as it relates to these strikes and the strikes that we've been seeing elsewhere in the country. You have,
I'm all for this. I am all for this. And I love that they're putting out DOD footage of exactly what's coming and letting them know that we have more of this. I guarantee you there is a battle group in that area. There's a carrier, there's a strike group, there's a couple of destroyers, maybe some Aegis cruisers. You know there's a submarine or two around there. This is exactly the kind of intimidation that needs to be exuded on the world stage, because for too damn long, this was allowed to happen. I'm gonna see if I can pull up these stats here. Look here. This is Reporting the Truth, Restoring the Church. Nigerian authorities ignore missionary warnings as 20 Christians were killed. Christians being prosecuted in Nigeria as Trump's claims. Let's see here. Referring to Boko Haram, he said they have killed over 100,000 since 2009 and burned 18,000 churches. 18,000 churches. Wow. And this is coming from Bill Maher. So this is not coming from just like some Trump trophy carrying guy. This is Bill Maher saying this. I mean, how can this be ignored by the liberal news media? I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't meet the religion of peace that they like to support. That's my theory. Guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you. Smash a like, subscribe, thumbs up button on the channel. Really helps get this message out. Do you support what's going on in Nigeria? Do you support these airstrikes conducted by this? Do you think that Donald Trump's peace through strength is the way that we need to go? Because I think the only thing that these people, when I say these people, I mean these bad guys, understand is power, strength, and intimidation. And when you put some hellfires out over Christmas Eve, dropping them right off Santa's sleigh, so to speak, that gets answers. Now, I can't wait for the next video because I'm sure Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the whole other list of bad actors are going to be out here basically calling this a war crime by Donald Trump. Smash a like, subscribe, leave your comment down below. I read them all. If you have any suggestions for videos, leave them in the bottom down there below and we'll get to it. Take care.